After 4 years, the 1900 Park Fair restaurant here at the Grand Floridian is finally reopened. But should you add it to your next Disney trip? I don't know that I'm convinced yet, so let's break it down and find out. I was here on opening day to check out the long-awaited reopening of this restaurant that's been closed since 2020. Now, Disney fans love a new experience, love a reopening. 100% guilty, but I was curious, is this restaurant actually going to stand the test of time, or is it more just Disney's latest flavor of the week? In order to figure that out, I'm going to be judging the restaurant on 3 criteria: ambiance, character interactions, and of course, food, including the iconic strawberry soup that this restaurant is known for and that I tried for the very first time. Before we get into the thick of it, though, here is a quick primer on what you need to know about this restaurant. Honestly, if you know all this already and just want the review part, skip ahead. This restaurant has been closed since March of 2020, but it has just reopened with both a breakfast and a dinner. Along with its reopening comes revamped theming, menu, and characters. It's a premium all-you-care-to-enjoy buffet for both meals, with breakfast running from 8 a.m. to noon and dinner from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And with both of them being a premium experience, they come with a premium price tag of $4 signs. Breakfast is $54 for adults and $66 for dinner. Pricey for sure. But let's see if the experience justifies the cost. First up, ambiance. I love having the energy back at the Grand Floridian that this restaurant provides. There's been a buzz missing here that is now filled back in since this is reopened. There's a waiting area right next to the check-in podium, but you also have all the Grand Floridian's beautiful lobby to wait in. Do note that it did take us a little bit longer than our reservation time to get seated, just mentioning that in case you're coming with kiddos. But when it comes to checking in, you can either do so right at the podium or through your My Disney Experience app, because when your table's ready, they're ultimately going to text you. You can enjoy exploring the rest of the resort while you wait for your table to get ready. I personally took the time to enjoy some of the lovely piano music here in the lobby. Did end up getting seated a little bit after reservation time. It was only about 10 minutes, which was completely fine with us. We totally understood, but just want to mention it and be completely transparent with our experience, because I want this to genuinely be something that can help you decide if you want to spend your precious Disney time here at this new restaurant. Especially with it being the first day, it was understandable. And besides that, I was actually really surprised how much they had all the other bugs worked out. It went really smoothly. All the cast members were exceedingly kind and wonderful, and it felt like the cast members and the guests, everyone was just so excited to be there. Now, this is when we first learned about the theme of the restaurant, which is all about wish making, which really spoke to my Disney loving heart. I mean, my favorite Disney nighttime show ever is Wishes. Our first dance song at our wedding was When You Wish Upon a Star. Basically, the theme of Wishes was so on brand for this restaurant, and something that was honestly not to get too ahead of myself, but it was a highlight. The wish-making ceremony that takes place during the meal specifically just completely warms my heart. But how effectively did they actually apply this theme to the decor? The Victorian carousel theme from the old restaurant blended seamlessly with the new design, and elements such as character artwork really integrated these two things together. The character artwork is precious and specifically shows the moment that each of these characters got their wish. I know, it's very cute. Also, time for a little history corner. The famous pipe organ Big Bertha from the original restaurant is still intact. I was honestly a little worried that it might be removed. It's a really cool piece of hidden in plain sight Disney history. Well, not just Disney history, but just history in general, because this pipe organ actually dates back to the early 1900s, where it was used in an amusement park in Michigan to go along with that park's carousel. So that's how it ties into the overall theme, but it's an antique pipe organ that has not only stood the test of time, but also been here at the Grand Floridian since the resort's opening in July of 1988. Disney and its details, y'all. So good. Before we get any further in, let's back it up. The restaurant itself is located on the main level of the Grand Floridian. Now, if you're driving in, they gave us this parking pass, which I hadn't experienced before, but when I came here today to eat at the Grand Floridian Cafe, I also got a parking pass. So I guess that's maybe a new thing they're doing here at the Grand Floridian. Now, for 1900 Park Fair, we were able to park actually here near the DVC tower at the resort. Whereas when I come to the Grand Floridian Cafe, both today and in the past, I've had to park across the street in kind of like the auxiliary parking lot. So I'm not sure if it was based on like the time of day that we got to park over closer to the resort, or if it's restaurant based, but just kind of a heads up on that to plan a little bit of extra time in case you do end up having to park across the street. However, if you're coming by monorail, let's talk that through. Now the monorail back here puts you out on the 4th level, so you'll need to head downstairs to ground level. So head like you're about to head outside through the gorgeous main lobby, but if you actually get outside, then you've gone too far. Simply turn around and you'll see the restaurant. All right, back inside the restaurant now. When you are seated, you get a pre-signed autographed card from the characters, which is common practice at character meals. But I did also see the characters signing an autograph book at a table nearby, so if that's important to you, seems like that's still an option as well. However, what's on the back of the autograph card is what's really special, because that's where you get to write down your wish, which we all collectively hold up and tell our wishes during the wish-making ceremony.
Next, in your best wishing voice, nice and loud now, repeat after me. I wish my wish. As wish makers do. As wish makers do. And believe in myself. And believe in myself. To make it come true.
It is so classic Disney. It's very sweet, and Jiminy Cricket even narrated that moment, so I definitely teared up. It was for sure a highlight. Oh, also thanks to Mirabel, who came over right as the ceremony was starting and encouraged me to write my wish down so that I could make it with everyone. Oh, and speaking of the characters, let's start by talking about who you get to meet. There's Mirabel, Aladdin, Cinderella, and Princess Tiana in her Tiana's Bayou adventure outfit, which is super cute. Now, Cinderella is the only holdover from the previous restaurant, with the other 3 being new additions. Overall, our character experience was okay. Let's just say they were sweet but brief, except for one. One character was absolutely fantastic. But we are all about supporting cast members on this channel, so I want to note that there's a few caveats to this. So first off, it was late. We didn't even get seated till about 8:30, so it was undoubtedly a very long day. And the character interactions were cute. They had a nice little spiel, but they were very quick, which makes sense because there are a lot of guests to see. Also potentially contributing to our experience is that it was just my husband and I know that there is limited time to see all of the guests, so I'd rather the cute 2-year-old girl sitting at the table next to us get to spend more time with the characters than us, 100%. They were perfectly lovely experiences, and I'm sure if you come with kiddos, you'll have a different experience than we did, but I just wanted to maybe justify why I was just rating that as okay. But that's also totally fine with us, because meeting the characters is definitely fun, but not as much of a highlight as the food. Now the food, that I care about. So the dinner buffet is filled with things like prime rib, pill and eat shrimp, curry roasted chicken, and other buffet staples like salad and bread. Basic drinks like Coke, tea, Sprite, those are included as part of the meal, but they also have both alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages that are available for an additional charge, like this fun violet lemonade, which was so good. And of course, the famous strawberry soup, which is back and better than ever according to our server Sylvia. They changed up the recipe with the reopening, and so I was excited to try it for the first time. And let me tell you, I had thoughts. But before we dive into dessert, let's start with savory items. I asked several cast members what they recommended off of the menu, and I kept hearing about Tiana's Gumbo, which, totally honest, I thought that they were just mentioning that because it was named after Tiana, which is really precious. But let me tell you, that gumbo is so good, and I would not have normally got it if it hadn't been for the recommendations. It even had a bit of a spicy kick to it, which is a rarity for Disney food. Now, I will tell you that it's the menu at this restaurant that really elevates it and takes it to the next level. There are so many house-made items, from the ranch dressing to all of the prime rib sauces. I tried just about everything on the menu, and it was incredible. I have been to many Disney buffets, and I can say that this was probably the best food at any of them. Actually, this is probably some of the best food I've had at Disney, period, recently. The buffet itself was immaculate. It was constantly being cleaned and restocked, and there were so many great items. For me, the mac and cheese was a must, and the desserts all were delicious. There was the cute Grand Floridian, fancier? It's like an almond cake with a Grand Floridian dark chocolate medallion on top. A lot of the desserts were glittery, and all the warm chocolate cakes were so good too. Everything was just really top notch. But ultimately, was all of this worth the hefty price tag? Price is a big consideration for sure with this restaurant. If you're a family of 4 coming for dinner, you're going to be spending $214 before tax, tip, or anything like that. And there's no reprieve from discounts either, whether annual pass holder, DVC. They're not doing any of those discounts for the time being, for the foreseeable future actually. For comparison, Roundup Rodeo Barbecue opened a year ago, and it just now is accepting discounts. Now, to figure out if this is actually worth your time and money on your next Disney vacation, let's look at it this way. If you are planning on doing a Disney character dining anyway, yes, it's pricey, but it's the same as Akershus where you meet Disney princesses over in Epcot, or even the nearby Chef Mickey's over at Disney's Contemporary Resort. So if you're considering doing a character dining meal anyway, this is one that at least it's a new experience and it's going to give you some really solid food options. I will also say that I never felt rushed here, which is not always the case at other character dining experiences. Even with it being opening day, it felt very leisurely and it felt like we could just really enjoy our experience. So ultimately, is it worth it though? If you're celebrating something special or you want to treat yourself to a premium character dining experience, the atmosphere, the character interactions, and of course the exceptional food set this one apart from other options. However, the cost is steep, so it might be more of a once in a while splurge than a regular visit. Was it worth it for me? Absolutely. For the memories alone, I'm so glad that I had that experience. Will I go again anytime soon? Probably not. My wallet needs to recover first. Having special Disney experiences like this is one of my favorite things about coming to Disney World. I have so many more special experiences to share that can help you fall in love with Disney even more. So make sure to subscribe so you're not missing any of these fun moments. Oh, and about that strawberry soup.